Have you ever asked yourself why failure hurts so much? Why one mistake, one rejection, or one fall can feel like the whole world is closing in on you? It's because deep inside, we've been conditioned to believe that failure is the opposite of success. We've been taught that failure means the end of the road, that it's proof we're not good enough, not smart enough, not capable enough. But what if that belief is the biggest lie holding you back? What if failure was never the end at all? What if it was actually the beginning of something greater? Listen closely, because if you stay with me until the end, you won't just walk away with motivation. You'll walk away with a brand new way of seeing failure. A way that transforms fear into fuel and setbacks into stepping stones. Think back for a moment. Remember a time when you failed? Maybe it was a project that fell apart. Maybe it was a goal you didn't reach. Maybe it was a risk that didn't pay off. Do you remember the sting of disappointment? Do you remember that voice whispering, "You're not good enough"? That voice isn't the truth, it's your fear speaking. See, psychology tells us that the human brain is wired to protect us from pain. When you fail, your mind registers danger. So it tells you to stop, to quit, to never try again. But if you listen to that voice, you rob yourself of the growth that only comes when you get back up and try again. Here's the truth. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of success. Every achiever, every innovator, every leader has walked through the fire of failure. The difference is, they didn't see it as the end. They saw it as a teacher. Failure is feedback. It shows you what doesn't work so you can find out what does. It shapes you. It strengthens you. It prepares you for the victories ahead. Without failure, success would have no depth, no meaning, no value. But here's the problem. We live in a world that worships perfection. Schools reward the right answers, not the attempts. Workplaces celebrate the wins, but hide the struggles. Social media shows you the highlight reel, but erases the failures behind the scenes. So when we stumble, we feel alone. We feel like we're the only ones falling while everyone else is soaring. But the truth is, nobody succeeds without failing. Nobody grows without falling. Nobody becomes great without being broken first. So ask yourself, why do we fear something that every successful person has faced? Why do we let failure define us when it was designed to shape us? The answer is perspective. If you see failure as the end, it will bury you. But if you see failure as the beginning, it will build you. Imagine this. Every rejection wasn't the world shutting its doors. It was life redirecting you. Every mistake wasn't weakness. It was proof that you were brave enough to try. Every fall wasn't final. It was simply part of the process. That is how strength is built. That is how resilience is born. Failure doesn't define you. Your response does. You are not your mistakes. You are not your setbacks. You are not the times you fell down. You are the courage that stood back up. You are the determination that kept going. You are the fire that refused to burn out. And when you start to see that, failure turns into fuel, not fear. Think about how you learned to walk as a child. You didn't stand up one day and start running. You fell over and over again. But nobody looked at a child and said, "You'll never walk." They understood that falling was part of learning. And eventually you walked. That same principle is true in every stage of life. The only difference is, as adults, we attach shame to failure instead of seeing it as growth. Psychology calls this cognitive reframing, the ability to take the same event and view it differently. If you define failure as the end, it feels crushing. But if you define it as progress, it feels empowering. Imagine what would happen if you reframed every failure as proof that you are moving, proof that you are growing, proof that you are alive and fighting. That shift alone changes everything. History is full of people who redefined failure. Thomas Edison, who failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. Michael Jordan, who was cut from his high school basketball team. Oprah Winfrey, who was told she wasn't fit for television. What separated them from the rest wasn't luck, it was perspective. They saw failure not as the end, but as the beginning. Now think about your own life. How many opportunities have you let slip because you were afraid to fail? How many dreams did you bury because of one rejection, one mistake, one stumble? What if, instead of seeing failure as a tombstone, you saw it as a teacher? What if every no was preparing you for the right yes? Here's the truth. Failure means you're in the arena. Failure means you're fighting while others are sitting on the sidelines. It means you're daring to live while others play it safe. That alone makes you stronger than you realize. So when you fall, don't say, "This is the end." Say instead, "This is the lesson. This is the training. This is the path." Because every failure is a doorway, not a dead end. Failure is not defeat. Failure is not weakness. Failure is not proof that you're not capable. Failure is feedback. And once you see it this way, the weight of it falls away. The shame disappears. What's left is strength, wisdom, and clarity. So remember this. Failure doesn't stop you. It shapes you. It doesn't close your story. It begins your greatest chapter. Failure is not the end. It is the start of your rise.